Hello, and welcome. Tonight, we're going to talk about a winter so cold it became an enemy of its own. A winter where survival depended not on firepower, but on knowledge, patience, and the quiet strength of the people beside you. 71,000 American soldiers went into the coldest European winter in 50 years. For full divisions came out broken, not from German bullets, not from artillery shells, from something nobody thought to plan for, the cold itself. The enemy that didn't shoot back. The enemy that just waited. And when the Army's own investigators looked at the damage afterward, they called it largely preventable. That's the part that still stings. This isn't a story about combat. This is what happens when the most powerful military on Earth sends its boys into winter wearing gear designed for autumn, and what those boys figured out to stay alive. Anyway, so before we get into this, if you've been listening to these and they're helping you drift off, a subscribe would be cool. I'm always curious where everyone's tuning in from. Actually, drop your city and what time it is where you are. All right, let's head back to December 1944. Belgium, the Ardennes Forest. But first, get comfortable. I mean it. Adjust those pillows. Pull that blanket up. Because where we're going, you're going to be grateful for every bit of warmth you've got. Your eyes open in the back of a truck. A 2.5-ton transport packed so tight with soldiers that nobody can move without elbowing someone in the ribs. The wooden bench under you has been rattling your spine for hours. Maybe 12 hours, maybe more. You stopped counting somewhere around the French border. Your name is Jimmy Callahan. You're 19 years old. 6 weeks ago, you were milking cows on your family's farm outside Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Your mother cried when you left. Your father shook your hand and said nothing, which was his way of saying everything. Your little sister gave you a letter to open on Christmas. It's still in your pocket waiting. Now you're a replacement rifleman heading somewhere nobody will tell you. Wearing a field jacket that the Army swore would keep you warm, but which feels about as useful as a wet newspaper. The M1941 field jacket. Army tests already confirmed it was too light for cold climates. The engineers knew they developed a better one, the M1943 model. But those jackets are sitting in warehouses hundreds of miles behind the lines while you freeze. The guy next to you, a kid from Texas named Eddie Martinez, has been asleep for the last 4 hours with his head on your shoulder. You don't mind. The warmth is nice. He told you on the ride that he'd never seen snow before joining the Army. Grew up in San Antonio, where winter meant putting on a light sweater. It's cold. Not Pennsylvania cold, which you thought you understood. Not that crisp winter morning cold, where your breath fogs up and you pull your collar a little tighter. This is something else. This is cold that gets into your bones and sets up house there. Cold that makes your jaw ache from clenching. Cold that finds every gap in your clothing and drives straight through like it's got a personal grudge. The truck lurches. Martinez wakes up with a snort. We there yet? His voice is scratchy. He's been saying that every time he wakes up for the last 6 hours. Don't know. Your voice comes out rough, too. You haven't had water in a while. The canteen froze. Outside, through the canvas flap at the back of the truck, you can see gray sky, gray trees, gray road, and white. So much white. Snow piled up on everything like the world decided to start over fresh and just erased whatever was there before. The trees look like ghosts. The road looks like it goes nowhere. Your stomach growls. You haven't eaten properly since yesterday. Your throat is dry, scratchy. The canteen at your hip is a block of ice. Now, the cold has a smell you've noticed. Like metal and wet stone and something else underneath that you can't name. It smells like the walk-in freezer at the butcher shop back home, but colder, emptier. The convoy slows. Stops. You hear shouting up ahead. American voices, but panicked. Wrong somehow. Then you see them. Soldiers. American soldiers. Dozens of them coming down the road toward your convoy. Walking. Some running. But not marching. Nothing organized about it. Just men moving as fast as they can in the opposite direction you're heading. What the hell? Martinez sits up straighter. One of them, an officer by the look of his insignia, stumbles past the back of your truck. He's not wearing a helmet. His hands are empty. His eyes are empty too. "Don't go up there," he says. Not yelling, just stating it like a fact. "The Germans are coming. They're going to kill everyone. Run." More soldiers stream past. You watch them throw down their rifles, their packs, their ammunition belts, anything that weighs them down. The road behind them starts to look like a yard sale of military equipment. A perfectly good Garand rifle lands in a snowbank. A bedroll unspools across the road. You've never seen anything like it. In training, they taught you that soldiers don't run. But these men aren't retreating. They're fleeing. "Jesus," someone in your truck whispers. The officer who told you to run is already gone. Disappeared into the gray. But more keep coming. Some of them are crying. Some of them are just staring straight ahead like they've already died and their bodies haven't figured it out yet. You've been in the army long enough to know what this is. These men have broken. Whatever they saw up there, it broke them. And you're headed straight into it. The movies show the firefights, the explosions. What they don't show is the waiting, the not knowing, the sitting in the back of a truck watching other men fall apart and wondering if you're next. The convoy doesn't stop, doesn't turn around, just keeps grinding forward through the snow while those broken soldiers stream past in the opposite direction. Martinez starts collecting stuff. Every time a piece of abandoned equipment passes within reach, he grabs it. Extra socks. A wool cap someone threw aside. A box of rations that landed in the snow. "What are you doing?" you ask. "Whatever's up there," he says, stuffing the socks inside his jacket. "We're going to need more than we've got." Smart. You start doing the same. By the time the convoy finally stops, you've scavenged 2 extra pairs of socks, a wool blanket some poor bastard decided was too heavy to carry while running for his life, and half a carton of cigarettes that fell out of someone's pack. You also found a newspaper, German from the looks of it, one of those propaganda leaflets they dropped from planes. You almost threw it away, but something made you keep it. Maybe because it was paper. Maybe because your grandmother used to stuff newspaper in the walls of the farmhouse when winter got bad. You don't know it yet, but that newspaper might save your life. The trucks empty out into a forest. Pine trees mostly. Tall ones. The kind that block out what little light the gray sky lets through. Snow knee-deep in places. And cold. God, the cold. A sergeant you've never seen before starts barking orders. Dig in. Set up defensive positions. The Germans hit hard 3 days ago. Broke through the line. Now they're pushing for a town called Bastogne. Something about road networks. 7 roads, all meeting in one place. The Germans want it. We can't let them have it. None of that matters to you right now. What matters is your feet. You can't feel your feet. Not them exactly. More like they're not there. Like everything below your ankles has been replaced with something that belongs to someone else. You stomp them. Flex your toes inside your boots. Nothing. Hey. Martinez appears next to you. He's got a shovel. "We're bunking together." Come on. Bunking together. Like you're going to camp. Like this is something normal. You grab your own shovel and follow him to a spot between 2 pine trees. The trees provide a little cover from above. Important, because German artillery likes to aim for trees. The shells hit the branches and explode outward, sending shrapnel and splinters raining down. They call them tree bursts. "We dig here," Martinez says. 2-man foxhole. Forget regulations. We make it big enough to sleep in. Both of us. We need warmth more than we need regulation. You start digging. The ground is frozen. The first 6 inches feel like you're trying to shovel concrete. Your arms burn. Your shoulders scream. Sweat starts to form on your back, which seems insane given how cold it is. But there it is. Wet and clammy under all those layers. That's bad. You learned that in basic. Sweat in cold weather means death. The moisture sits there, steals your heat, freezes against your skin. You're supposed to pace yourself. Work in bursts. But there's no time. Martinez is digging like a man possessed. Every few seconds, he looks up at the tree line, at the gray nothing where the Germans might appear at any moment. Every few seconds, he digs faster. My sergeant in basic, he says between shovelfuls, told me something. Said the guys who dig fastest survive longest. Said a foxhole is worth more than a rifle in winter. You believe it? By the time you've got a hole deep enough to sit in, your arms feel like they're going to fall off. Your back is soaked through with sweat. The hole is ugly. Not regulation at all. But it's yours. Martinez climbs in. You climb in after him. And immediately you understand something. The wind stops down here. Below ground level, the air isn't still exactly. But it's not that relentless cutting wind that's been sawing at your face for the last 12 hours. It's almost like the earth itself is blocking it. Better, Martinez says. Better. Yeah. Then the cold starts to seep up from the ground. See, here's what they didn't tell you. What nobody told you until you were actually sitting in a frozen hole in Belgium with Germans somewhere out in the dark. The air will get you. The wind will get you. But the ground will drain you dry. You're sitting on frozen earth. -10, maybe colder. And all that body heat you've been generating, all that sweat you made digging this hole, it's pouring straight down into the dirt like water down a drain. Within 20 minutes, you can't feel your legs. Within an hour, your teeth are chattering so hard you bite your tongue. The taste of blood mixes with the taste of cold. Metallic. Sharp. This isn't working, you say? Your voice sounds strange. Thick. Like someone else is using your mouth. Martinez nods. He's shaking too. Both of you. Just two guys in a hole in the ground. Slowly freezing to death. While the German army is somewhere out there doing God knows what. You think about your mother's kitchen. The wood stove that made the whole room glow orange in the winter. The smell of bread baking. What you would give for that wood stove right now. That's when you remember the newspaper. The German one. The propaganda leaflet. You pull it out from inside your jacket where you stuffed it hours ago. It's crumpled, damp from your sweat. But it's paper. What are you doing? Martinez asks. You're not sure yourself. But you remember your grandmother. You remember the farmhouse. You remember her saying something about trapped air being what keeps you warm. Not the material itself. You start crumpling the newspaper, page by page, wadding it up into loose balls. Not tight. Loose. Like she used to do before stuffing it into the walls. Give me a jacket, you say? Martinez looks at you like you're crazy. But he does it. He's too cold to argue. You stuff the crumpled paper inside the lining. Around the shoulders. Down the sides. Anywhere there's space. Then you do the same for yourself. Then you take what's left and pack it around your feet inside your boots as best you can. It takes a while. Your fingers are so numb you can barely work them. But eventually both of you are lined with crumpled German propaganda. And slowly, so slowly you almost think you're imagining it. The shaking starts to ease. Holy hell, Martinez whispers. It's working. It's not warm. Let's be clear about that. You're still cold. You'll be cold for the next 3 weeks straight, actually. And you'll never forget what that feels like as long as you live. But you're not dying anymore. The paper is trapping little pockets of air against your body. And those pockets are holding just enough of your heat to keep you on the right side of alive. You didn't invent this. You'll learn later that soldiers all across the Ardennes were figuring out the same thing. Stuffing newspapers and magazines and propaganda leaflets into their clothes. German newspapers. French magazines. Anything they could scrounge. The physics is simple. Air is what insulates. Not wool. Not cotton. Not down feathers. Those materials just trap air in place. Stop air from moving. And you stop losing heat. All those microscopic chambers in crumpled paper do the same thing as expensive insulation. Just cheaper. And more available. If you know where to look. Your grandmother knew. Depression-era wisdom passed down from families who couldn't afford to heat their homes properly. And now, 80 years later, that same wisdom is keeping American boys alive in Belgian foxholes. Martinez is looking at you different now. You farm boys know stuff, he says. You almost laugh. Almost. But your face is too frozen for that. Somewhere out in the dark, artillery starts up. Deep booming sounds like thunder that doesn't stop. Could be German. Could be ours. The sound echoes through the forest, rattles the trees, makes snow fall from the branches in little cascades. At this point, it doesn't matter whose guns they are. All that matters is the whole, the paper, and the fact that you're still breathing. You think about what you saw today. The fleeing soldiers, the abandoned equipment, the fear in their eyes. You think about the letter in your pocket, the one from your little sister, the one you're supposed to open on Christmas. Christmas is what? A week away, maybe less. You've lost track. You'll open it. You decide. You'll survive long enough to read whatever your sister wrote. Morning's a long way off, but you're going to make it. Maybe. Probably. Martinez shifts next to you. His shoulder presses against yours. The contact is oddly comforting. Get some sleep, he says. I'll take first watch. Your eyes are already closing. The exhaustion of the last day. The cold. The fear. All of it pressing down on you like a physical weight. The last thing you hear before drifting off is Martinez humming something under his breath. A song you don't recognize. Something from Texas. Probably something warm. You wake up, and for a second, you don't know where you are. Then the cold reminds you. It hits like a fist. Every joint aches. Your fingers feel like they belong to a corpse. Your back is pressed against frozen dirt. And it feels like someone has been draining the life out of you through your spine all night. Like vampires. But instead of blood, they're taking heat. Every last bit of it. Martinez is already awake. Crouched at the edge of the foxhole. Rifle pointed at nothing in particular. The sky above is gray. Still gray. Always gray. Morning, he says. You try to respond. But your jaw is locked. Frozen in place. You have to work it back and forth a few times before words come out. Your lips are cracked. Taste like blood. How long was I out? 4 hours. Maybe I let you sleep through your watch. You should be angry. A man's supposed to pull his own weight. But honestly, you're too cold to feel much of anything besides cold. You sit up. Or try to. Your body doesn't want to cooperate. Everything moves slow. Like you're underwater. Like you're one of those wind-up toys that's running out of juice. Your neck makes a cracking sound when you turn it. That can't be good. The paper in your jacket crinkles when you move. Still there. Still doing its job. Sort of. You're not dead, which counts for something. But God, you're cold. Colder than you've ever been. Colder than you thought a person could be and still have a heartbeat. The ground, you say? Martinez nods. Yeah, I know. Because that's the thing. The paper helped with the air. Helped trap some heat against your skin. Kept the wind from cutting straight through you. But the ground doesn't care about your crumpled newspaper. The ground just takes. You've been lying on frozen earth all night. -5, -20. Who knows? And all that time, your body heat has been pouring straight down into the dirt. Like you're some kind of human radiator trying to warm up all of Belgium. We've got to do something about that, Martinez says. Or we're not going to make it. He's right. You know he's right. The paper was a good start. But it's not enough. You need something between you and the ground. Or this hole is going to be your grave. The forest wakes up around you. Other foxholes. Other soldiers. You can hear coughing. Groaning. The sound of men who've spent the night in frozen dirt and are now paying the price. Somewhere to your left, someone is crying. Not loud. Just quiet, steady weeping. The kind that comes when you've been cold so long you forget what warm feels like. A voice cuts through the noise. Loud. Commanding. Listen up. You peek over the edge of your foxhole. There's a sergeant making his way through the trees. Older guy. Maybe 40. Face like leather that's been left out in the weather too long. He's got the look of someone who's seen things. Survived things. The kind of guy who probably has stories he'll never tell. I know you boys are freezing, he says. I know the army sent you out here with gear that ain't worth a damn. And weather like this. So I'm going to teach you how not to die. Martinez and you exchange a look. The sergeant stops in front of your foxhole, looks down at you like he's inspecting cattle at auction. You too. Out. Now. You climb out. Your legs barely work. It's like someone replaced your knees with rusty hinges overnight. Look at this hole, the sergeant says. You dug it good. Deep enough. Wide enough for two. But you made a mistake. You shake your head. You're sleeping on bare ground. Frozen ground. Might as well sleep on a block of ice. Actually, ice would probably be warmer. At least ice doesn't conduct heat as fast as this Belgian clay. He crouches down, picks up a handful of dirt. Frozen solid. Comes up in chunks. Heat moves two ways out here, he says. Through the air, which you boys figured out with your newspaper trick. Yeah, I saw that. Smart Depression-era stuff. My mama used to do the same thing back in Oklahoma. He tosses the dirt back down. But heat also moves through contact. You touch something cold. Your body heat flows into it. Basic physics. He stands up. So what do we do about it? Nobody answers. We build a barrier. An insulation layer. Something between us and the ground. He starts walking. Expects you to follow. You do. Martinez right behind you. The sergeant leads you to the edge of the tree line where the pines give way to a small clearing. There's a Belgian farmhouse in the distance, half destroyed by artillery. Smoke rises from somewhere behind it. Between you and the farmhouse, a barn. Also damaged, but still standing. That barn, the sergeant says. You see it. You nod. Inside that barn is straw. Hey, whatever the Belgians call it. That's gold right now. Better than gold. Gold can't keep you alive when it's 20 below. He starts walking toward the barn. You follow. But we can't always find barns, he continues. Sometimes you're in the middle of nowhere. Just trees and snow and Germans who want to kill you. So you got to know how to work with what the forest gives you. He stops next to a pine tree, reaches up and snaps off a lower branch. Pine boughs. See how they spread out? All those needles trap air. Same principle as your newspaper. He hands you the branch. You pile enough of these on the ground. 6 inches at least. And you've got yourself a mattress that won't kill you. No pine trees, he continues. Dry leaves work. Dead grass. Anything that creates loft. Anything that puts air space between your body and the ground. You understand? Yes, Sergeant. The veterans, he says. And something in his voice changes. Gets quieter. The guys who made it through Normandy. Through Holland. They figured this out the hard way. Lost a lot of good men before they did. He demonstrates. Lays the pine bough flat. First layer goes one direction. 6 inches. Then you add another layer on top going the other way. Perpendicular. You know what that does? Martinez speaks up. Stops compression channels. The sergeant nods. Exactly. You pile everything the same direction. Your body weight pushes it down. Creates channels where the cold gets through. You cross-layer. The air stays trapped. Your heat stays where it belongs. He turns back toward the barn. Straw is best. Pine bough second. Leaves third. But anything is better than bare ground. I've seen guys use corn stalks. Cattails. Anything they could find. One soldier down in the Hurtgen stuffed his foxhole with German newspapers and dead grass and lived. The guy next to him slept on bare dirt and froze to death before morning. The barn door hangs off its hinges. Inside it smells like animals and old hay, and something else underneath that you don't want to think about. But there's straw. Dry, golden. The most beautiful thing you've seen since leaving Pennsylvania. Take as much as you can carry, the sergeant says. Fill that foxhole of yours. Make it comfortable. You're going to be there a while. You and Martinez start grabbing armfuls. The straw is dusty. Makes you sneeze. But it's dry. That matters more than anything. Wet insulation is worse than none at all. Sergeant, you ask as you're loading up. They told us to wear extra socks. 2 pairs. 3 pairs. But it's making things worse. He stops. Looks at you. Yeah, it would. Why? Because the boots aren't sized for it. You add layers. You compress the material. You cut off blood flow. No blood flow means no heat. No heat means tissue death. That's trench foot. That's how you lose toes. He shakes his head. The British figured that out before we did. Their boys are fighting in the same forest. Same temperatures. You know how many cold injuries they've had? Almost none. Because they sized their gear right. Because they trained their men. Because they didn't send boys into winter with equipment designed for autumn. There's anger in his voice. Real anger. The kind that comes from watching men die for stupid reasons. We're the most powerful military on earth, he says. And we're losing soldiers to the weather. Not to the Germans. To the damn weather. He picks up his own armful of straw. So you learn. You adapt. You figure out what works. Even if it's not in the manual. The manual's sitting in some warehouse in England. Along with the winter gear we were supposed to get. We don't have the manual. We've got each other. You build the floor of your foxhole. Layer by layer. 6 inches one way. 6 inches the other. Pine boughs on top. A nest. You lie down. For the first time since arriving in Belgium, the cold doesn't immediately drill into your back. Holy hell, you whisper. Martinez lies down beside you. It's like a bed, he says. It's not. But compared to frozen dirt, it might as well be. That night, you sleep better. Not warm, but alive. Days pass. You dig deeper. 3 feet. The soil changes. Dark. Not frozen. Stable. The earth holds its heat. You build a roof. Branches. Dirt. Snow. The wind disappears. The temperature steadies. You sleep. You learn about trench foot. Wet kills faster than cold. Sock rotation. Every 4 hours. Massage. Inspection. Buddy checks. You teach others. Some listen. Some don't. Some lose their feet. Some don't wake up. A corporal brings a stove. A blue flame. Hot water. Hot coffee. Warm food. Calories. Life. The cold drops to -15. Nothing works anymore. So you press together. 2 bodies. 1 space. The shaking stops. You fall asleep on watch. Hypothermia lies. It feels peaceful. Martinez shakes you awake. Hands you warm water. Saves your life. The buddy system spreads. Foxholes hold too. Rank disappears. Physics doesn't salute. The tanks come. Patton's army. Relief. Hot food. Winter gear. Clear skies. Planes return. The siege breaks. You open the letter. Home still exists. They pull you off the line. January 1945. A truck ride away from the forest. Martinez beside you. Alive. The cold didn't beat you. It almost did. But it didn't. Knowledge did. Adaptation did. Each other did. In the coldest place you've ever been. The warmth that kept you alive came from the people beside you. Good night. You let go. Sleep takes you gently, carrying with it the wisdom of those who came before and the hope of those who will come after. Rest now. Rest well.